I think that was a fig leaf, because what happened to the fact check? 5 days later, we still don't have that. But it does underscore, as you say, the pattern always
to give me a better night's sleep.
Call now to get your very own MyPillow mattress topper. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Order now.
I personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
SoMee is a decentralized social media platform. It allows users to monetize their content. So with me today, 3 actors who have done just that. So we have, first, let's introduce Nick Dong-Zik, who is an actor. Hello, Nick. And
Hello.
we've got Beizhou Doman, also an actor, and Peter Akuna, actor as well. So great to have you guys. This is going to be a fun interview. I can just tell.
Nice for having us.
So, yeah. So, Nick, I introduced you first. Let's just start with how you're using SoMee for your career and how you're using the platform.
I'm using the SoMee platform more for my personal stuff. I like to connect with people all around the world. I heard about SoMee from friends, so I joined. It's in the beginning. I think it's very interesting. It has many options.
Beizhou, what about you? How are you using SoMee?
It's kind of the same. First of all, I like that it's decentralized, so you are the owner of the copyright and everything. What makes it a little bit easier, because you know that nobody could steal what you basically post. But that's why I easily combine private and public as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's why I like to use it. And I like to use it because it's just a completely new system, revolution in my opinion, and that's awesome to be part of from the very beginning.
It's a good outlet for me to kind of apply any creative projects that I've done kind of on the side that aren't necessarily completely professional, but are just kind of these small projects that I've done on my own that I want to put up there. And at the same time, it's a global-based platform. So I like to connect with people from all around the globe. So that SoMee gives me that option, which I like a lot.
I'm always kind of amazed, here's social media and a way to make money off of your content, which if you look at Facebook or Twitter, they're basically making money off your content. So, I'm wondering, how does that work? Have you been able to monetize it yet, or are you just kind of in the early stages? Nick, you want to weigh in on that first?
Yeah, no, you can monetize at this time. It's possible. So I like the idea everybody can get rewarded. So you don't have to be a famous person or an influencer. You can be a teacher, student, or hairstylist. And if your content is good, the people vote you up and you get rewarded. And that's the system.
If you compare, I use social media for many years now. I started back in the days, even when we had MySpace and that stuff. Really back, way back. And what I always basically saw if you compare to SoMee is that the idea we have these days of social media is that only big influencers, celebrities, that they can make money. And it's not that the platforms themselves, like Instagram, Facebook, give them money. No, it's about sponsors and that stuff. And that creates this idea that people think only influencers, celebrities, people with a huge following can make money.
So there's every individual has what's called voting power based off of the SoMee coins that they have. And this voting power switches into a monetizable amount. So anytime you scroll through your feed or somebody posts something and you click like, that post now becomes monetized. Your voting power provides them a reward that they can then, that loads into their wallet a week later.
Okay. Interesting. And that's good to know. That's kind of the practicality of it all. So I I want each of you to weigh in on COVID, quarantine. I mean, you're actors, and that whole industry has been shut down. I mean, it's just now starting to open back up again. I mean, was a platform like SoMee able to save your sanity and financially?
Because I use it every day. And I use it, I mean, I used before Instagram a lot or Facebook. I still use it, but not every day, because those platforms became for me more like, okay, I only want to post something if I really acting wise have something. But like I said before, now I can combine private and public on SoMee. I use it every day. And that's one part to stay sane. But on the other hand, Peter is in LA with me, so we were like pretty creative recently. We created our own short films. We even created a little like web series. So that's the way we try to stay sane during this quarantine. So we stayed productive and creative. That was nice, and we shared it on SoMee. That was nice too.
And so, Peter, what kind of experience did you have through the quarantine in this most unusual situation we've all been living through?
Well, yeah, so the quarantine provided a lot of free time, but with that, I was able to have that creative space, like Bejo and Nick said. And yeah, I'm down in LA with Bejo. I'm in Minnesota currently, but we took the time to create many different projects, just personal projects that popped into our head, small ideas that we wanted to share out to the world and throw onto SoMee. So that's what I kind of used my time for as well.
Okay, so finally, just to kind of, Nick, explain, like, where do you think SoMee's going, and what is the success for an actor or anybody who creates content? What is a secret of success to making it on SoMee?
Oh, my secret. I don't know if I want to tell you my secret. I think for me it's more. I'm not into crypto. Yeah, but I heard about Bitcoin. So, but I missed it out. So, and now we have SoMee, and I think SoMee is, it will be, I hope so, a huge thing.
I see it literally could change the world, because what I said before with changing perspective of people's thinking about their value, their own worth. So I think that will change in the future, and SoMee is probably going to do that.
Post every day, at least, or at least if you don't want to post, there has to be consistency. That's the secret I can share with you, is the consistency of use. A lot of people like to start something, but they don't follow through all the way to the end. They don't stick onto it. Nothing really comes out of it. But for SoMee, if you want to build yourself on the platform and constantly generate and resubmit, repower up coins, you have to keep using it every day.
Well, thank you so much. It was great to talk to you, Nick and Peter and Bejo, and best of luck. And we'll make sure people know how they can go to SoMee and check it out and start to load content if they want to. So. There's a new tokenized commodity exchange, which is built as an easy and safer way to have exposure to commodities. And so with me is Hamayan Sheikh, the founder and CEO of Fetch.ai, and then also Metalex. So kind of explain, Hamayan, how Fetch, Metalex falls into Fetch, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the exchange.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Jane. So Fetch is building the underlying technology, and we are building multiple protocols and multiple tools which you can use to actually build commercial applications on top. And Metalex is one of those commercial applications where you can create your own instruments and you can trade your own instruments. You don't need counterparties. You are trading with a smart contract, and you can create exposure. You can hedge exposure in a decentralized exchange. You can actually buy, sell, and trade the exposure without the need for a counterparty.
Okay. So the Metalex is an exchange using Fetch's technology. So there may be other things besides an exchange that Fetch would be used for, which I know we talked about, but this is just one application.
Yes, this is more a DeFi application, which we see a lot of people, a lot of traders, and my background in commodities. It's very difficult to actually take illiquid commodities and create any volume around it. Most of these exchanges probably won't even list such commodities in the way. It's very cumbersome. It's got very archaic method of trading. Mm-hmm. So what we're doing is we're bringing it into the DeFi space. So you could be creating new types of instruments. You could be creating new types of hedging instruments, so for risk management instruments, and you can then create the market around it. And the best bit is you don't have a centralized entity which is in control, so you don't have counterparty risk either.
Interesting. So, well, I spent a few years at the Chicago Board of Trade. I grew up on a farm, so I get the whole kind of illiquid part of it. So, Humayun, your background is in which commodities?
I've traded in mostly metals, and hence the name MetalX, metal exchange. But I traded mostly with iron ore, steel, raw materials, and some base metals like aluminium, zinc, and copper. And so that's the background I have, and it became very apparent that there's a lot of other metals, other commodities which are thinly traded, which have no huge liquidity, and it's quite difficult to actually get an exposure or a hedge against.
Right. No, I get it. They're like those in the ag commodities too. So, how would this benefit, let's say, a farmer or somebody in the industry, in the metal industry or whatever, a trader, and then and somebody who's involved in institutional trading? Like, what benefit would MetalX give them?
So the biggest benefit here is quite interesting, that you can create the instrument you want yourself. You don't have to rely on somebody else to do it. So you can log on and you can say, okay, I want an exposure between wheat. I want to create a spread between wheat and oil, for example. And you can take those two indices and you can create that spread. So rather than taking wheat as a separate commodity and buying a long or a short exposure on that commodity and doing the same with oil, what you can do is you can create a spread. Now, what does that do? What it does is actually your margin requirements reduce dramatically. So you don't need that huge amount of margin for two separate commodities. You're taking exposure on one spread. So your margin is down. Your margin call is down because you suddenly now have a spread where you have this upper and lower limit, where if you go beyond the floor and the cap, it will settle. And you can create your own exposure, you can create your own instrument and your own product. And then you can actually go and buy the exposure and sell the exposure, and you can actually be hedged instantly, effectively. And you trade with a smart contract which is run by autonomous market makers. So you don't actually need the other side or the counterparty, which then takes away the risk of the counterparty as well.
Okay. Oh, that's fascinating. So how does somebody get started, or how can they check this out and see if this is something they'd like to explore?
So we will be launching a beta phase in October, second week of October. We are currently going to launch with roughly 12 kind of commodity spreads, which will include things like iron ore, which will include some of the more exotic ones like cobalt, uranium, perhaps, and then some more technology-oriented, like your compute cycle costs. So you can actually hedge your computational costs for a year, for 6 months. And again, the cost of equipment, which means you can take an exposure on a battery, for example, battery components. So you can take exposure on things which you haven't been able to till now. So we will open that beta phase, and we're inviting multiple different traders, different physical traders, commodity traders, futures traders, to come and try it out and see how they feel and give us some feedback. So by end of October, we'll be announcing that.
Okay, and they can go to, what is the website, or how do they sign up for the beta phase?
Yeah, so the website is called metalx.com, and you can access it via Fetch.ai, or you can do it via MetalX, which is METTALEX.com.
Okay, well, that's very interesting because, like I said, I've spent some time in the commodity markets and around them, and this sounds like it's a market for things that have not been traded in the past, so that makes that more of a market. And then also it's kind of updated for the future. You mentioned computer parts too, so it's the futures market kind of for the future.
We're bringing the old commodities into the new world. It's still in its archaic phase of trading, so this should change.
Very interesting. All right, well, check it out. Thank you, Humayun, for joining us and explaining MetalX for us.
Always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Welcome back. We talked to NativeCoin a few times as they progress and grow. And with me is the COO of NativeCoin, Jeff Johnson, also the CEO and co-founder of Ferrum Networks, Ian Friend. And they're going to explain a little bit more about a new partnership that they're doing. So, Jeff, let's start with you. And I know we've talked, what is this, 3-4 times now? Give like a couple sentences what NativeCoin is for anybody who hasn't seen it. And then let's talk about the progress you've been seeing over the past several months.
Sure. NativeCoin is a sovereign currency for the Native American casinos, the sovereign lands, Native businesses throughout North America and throughout the world. There are 563 tribes in America with 463 casinos doing over $37 billion in gaming revenues. And the idea of NativeCoin is to attract outside investment to the sovereign lands through the gaming, the shopping malls, and many different businesses that the Native American lands have. And NativeCoin right now has been working on a new network, a new code that will allow smart contract-based gaming and smart contracts for our ATM machines. With this new updated code, that will actually allow many more gaming things, many more transactions. It's faster, it's cheaper, and we've been working on that for a little over a year.
Did it move from Bitcoin to Ethereum or add Ethereum or?
So that's what we're working on right now. Yeah, it's currently on its own Bitcoin network, and we're going to be moving over to the Ethereum network for the smart contracts.
Okay, and explain the relationship with Ferrum Networks. We'll bring in Ian now.
Sure. Yeah. I have Ian with me, and our partnership with the Ferrum network is great because during this transition period over to the Ethereum network, we're still working on the on and off ramps for NativeCoin way to buy and sell it, and then also the ease of use of cryptocurrency in general. And Ian and I have been in touch for quite some time, and we decided, you know what, this is the perfect time to put together the partnership, and some of the features and things that the Ferrum network offers is perfect for NativeCoin. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Ian, you're up. So explain to me what Ferrum Network is and how this is a good fit.
Sure. So I just want to thank Jeff and the team at NativeCoin, and of course everyone at NASDAQ for having us on. Really excited to be a part of this partnership. And what I love about NativeCoin, what they're bringing to the space is that they're bringing blockchain technology into the real world, right? And to the benefit of their end users. The challenge when you do that is how do you simplify what is otherwise complex technology and make it easy for someone who might not be technically inclined. Someone maybe living on a reservation. They've never heard of something like a wallet address or really blockchain in general. So what Ferrum does, we're building tools and technology that simplifies crypto for the end user. And one of the things we're doing with NativeCoin is imbuing their token with a technology that we've built called link drops. Now, normally when you send crypto, you send it to a string of random letters and numbers, right? This is sort of an intimidating idea for many people. So we've stripped away that complexity and replaced it with a link. So you can now send crypto anywhere. So messenger apps, social media, even email using a link, right? And so now the NativeCoin users are able to send and receive cryptocurrency, not have to worry about saying the wrong address, not have to be worrying about the complexity of a wallet, string of random letters and numbers. That's one area we're working together on, and I'm really excited to bring it out for the benefit of NativeCoin and their users.
Well, that's really interesting because those wallet addresses are like 30 digits and impossible to remember. So this is a much easier way. It just makes it easier for people. You don't have to store that information somewhere, worry about losing it, and so forth.
Yeah, exactly. So we made it a lot easier for them. We've also made crypto valuable, right? Because another thing that I think is missing from this equation is, aside from sending, receiving, how does someone earn from cryptocurrency? And so we built a technology called staking, which allows holders of tokens, including the NativeCoin token, which is a part of this new partnership, to hold NativeCoin and basically earn interest for doing that. I think that's really exciting for folks who may never even have had access to financial instruments or compound interest. They can now hold their NativeCoin and just earn simply for doing that.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting. And just finally, if you could both just weigh in on this. It is the tokenization and all this is making money more democratic. It feels like now more than ever, it's harder for people to start, to invest, or I mean, and it's people are left out of it because they don't have enough to begin with, so just give up. So this is one way to help people get involved in the financial system.
Sure, yeah. Everything that NativeCoin's about right now is creating the on and off ramp and ease of use. Ease of use in cryptocurrency, making it as easy as possible for people getting in to understand it, to use and transact with it. That is what we're all about. If people can't understand it, they're not going to use it. And so, our mission from the very, very, very beginning has always been, first and foremost, making sure people can access it. And second, when they do access it, make sure that it's as easy as possible for them to understand and use. And Baron, that's what they bring.
Okay. And finally, Ian, any last thoughts? And how can people find out more about Ferrum Networks?
Yeah, sure. So I just want to echo the sentiments of both of you. I think absolutely the key to making this industry a success is accessibility and value. If we can make it easy to use and also bring value in our daily lives through things like staking or other ways to earn, then we'll actually done something positive as an industry. Yeah, you can find more about Ferrum at ferrum.network. Also our Twitter handle at Ferrum Network, and across our social media channels, basic Ferrum Network, everybody find us.
Okay. Well, congratulations on the partnership and best of luck, and look forward to seeing you at the NASDAQ someday again soon. Welcome back. Sologenic is a trading ecosystem that can connect the global financial markets with crypto. And with me is a co-creator of this system, Bob Raz, all the way from Spain. So great to talk to you this morning, Bob.
Hi, Jay. Thanks for having me on your show.
Okay. So let's start with decentralized financing that's getting a lot of buzz right now. Explain how Sologenic is a DeFi entity.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, decentralized finance is booming right now and definitely has the potential to change the future of economy. But the main question is, how do governments feel about that? Well, as we know, regulations are the key for any industry to grow. For that reason, we have designed a hybrid DeFi model, which us as the centralized party are only involved in KYC and fiat on and off ramping. Further on, we are adding smart contract functionality, which that will bring more aspects of DeFi, such as escrow, lending, and etc. for tokenized assets.
Okay, and then you mentioned the tokenization, and Sologenic facilitates the tokenizing of 40,000 stocks, ETFs, commodities as well. How does all that work, and what are the advantages to the tokenization?
That's actually a great question. Once an asset is tokenized, it brings many different benefits for the users. For example, users can withdraw these tokenized assets and transfer these assets to their own private wallets. So basically, they can have self-custody of these assets without involvement of the third party. Or they can trade these tokenized assets 24/7 on the DEX without the limitation of traditional market hours. The other benefit is users, they can expand these tokenized assets through solo cards, which basically works as ordinary credit cards, and users, they can use these solo cards anywhere in the world to spend these tokenized assets. As mentioned before, we are adding a smart contract functionality, which that creates limitless opportunities for users through DeFi.
Okay, I mean, it really opens up a whole new world of finance, which is fascinating. And now, how do the dividends work? Because there are dividends with tokenized assets as well, right?
Yeah, correct. We actually, when we have designed the whole ecosystem, we try to make this as simple as possible. The way it works, the ecosystem scans and detects all the wallet addresses that they hold that specific tokenized assets and deposit dividends in real time into those wallet addresses.
Okay, and then we've had a lot of highly publicized stock splits this year. There's an Apple, Tesla has split.
Yeah.
How does Sologenic's ecosystem handle a stock split?
Yes, in terms of the stock split, Sologenic notified the holder of those tokenized assets and provide a 30-day token swap period. During this period, users can swap their existing tokenized assets with the new.
Now, you touched a little bit on regulation, and I know this is a really crazy area. A lot of governments are still trying to figure it out. It's very fast changing. I mean, how are you handling that? What have been the challenges involved with dealing with government regulation?
Actually, the way that we look at regulations, probably many people, they have the same point of view. We see regulations as a factor that brings value and transparency to any industry in a line there. In terms of Sologenic, we have applied for MiFID investment firm license inside EU, which this license gives us the opportunity to offer the trading of securities to our users. In the meanwhile, we currently considering to obtain a secondary license, a secondary brokerage license in other offshore jurisdictions, so we can serve a wider range of countries.
And I also noticed on the website that Sologenic allows you to tokenize even a fraction of a stock. So explain how that works, and then would this be something that would open up finance to people that have been kind of shut out of it before because they didn't have the money to invest?
Yeah, for sure. That's actually my favorite part of Sologenic ecosystem. So we have introduced a new type of order. It's called pool order. The way it exactly works, users can contribute any amount to the pool, and the system will execute the order as soon as the amount reaches to one. For example, I give you an example. Today, let's say the price of Tesla is $500, and there are bunch of users, let's say 100 users that they're willing to put down, they're willing to put down anything from $1 to $500 into the pool. As soon as the pool amount reaches to the value of one Tesla stock, which is $500, the system will execute the order and will tokenize this asset and will basically divide the token between all the users who have participated in the pool order.
Okay. I mean, it's a fascinating application of tokenization that we're going to be able to open this up to people that have been excluded before.
Yes, hopefully very soon in US. Unfortunately, at this moment, it's not going to be available inside US, but we are working. So.
Okay. Great. Sounds like a very interesting concept, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much, Bob, for joining us.
I go way beyond the headlines. I dig in very, very deep, and I'm looking for those kernels of information that often go unreported, but mean everything for the viewer. It's all about investing in your future, your American dream.
Fox Business, invested in you.
Do you have a coffee smile? Drinking coffee causes yellow teeth for thousands of people just like you. And whitening toothpaste just doesn't make those stains go away. Introducing Power Swabs, the first teeth whitening system that lifts coffee stains off your teeth in less than 5 minutes.
I've smoked, I've drank coffee, I drink red wine, and using Power Swabs, it's made a difference. People ask me, what do you do to whiten your teeth? And I'm really proud to tell them that I use Power Swabs.
The secret is a tooth detergent and whitening agent developed by Dr. Martin Ginniker. Power Swabs remove stains on natural teeth, veneers, bonding, caps, and crowns. The best part is you just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you'll have whiter teeth.
When I use these whitening strips, I noticed when I would drink, I would get this crazy sensitivity. It would go right to my brain, and I'm like, I hate this. With Power Swabs, there was zero sensitivity.
Try it now and get up to 40% off the regular price. Shipping is free, plus you'll receive a free quick stick pen.
All it takes is a little love. St. Joseph low-dose aspirin can help lower the risk of recurring heart attack or stroke. Aspirin is not appropriate for everyone, so be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen. Put a little love in your heart. St. Joseph low-dose aspirin.
Guys come in all shapes and sizes. There is no normal for everyone, but there is a normal for you. If, like thousands of other guys, you find that your normal isn't so normal anymore, it could be an addressable medical condition called Peyronie's disease, or PD. A curve with a bump that bothers you isn't normal and should be checked out by a urologist, because you don't have to accept this as your new normal. Find a urologist at learnaboutpd.com.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. If you or a loved one were exposed to Roundup weed killer and were later diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, call right now.
Call 1-800-378-2132.
The following is a paid presentation